We on the cusp, we going up, we elevate, yesterday. We on the cusp, we on the cusp, we on the cusp, we on the cusp. Look at us now, we running town.
Hey, what's going on, my good people? You already know who it is and what it be. This is Rob P, and we are here on the cusp of growth, on the cusp of progression, on the cusp of elevation, and on the cusp, we interview thought leaders and innovators here in Northwest Ohio that are pushing it forward, helping people take things to the next level for themselves. And today we have none other than the superstar, Mr. Stephen Darrington, agency owner, franchise owner of Farmers Insurance. What's up, bro? What's up?
What's up, Rob, man? On the cusp of Rob. Love it.
Hey, I got superstar Stephen Darrington. First and foremost, man, you got to tell me because you never explained it. You don't have to explain it because I kind of understand because I know who you are. But for the people that don't know who you are, what is superstar? What does that mean?
So I want to put this so that this is, I don't want to sound too arrogant, but I'm superstar. That's just what it is. I'm the best. Like I am a mastermind in my profession. I am one of the best insurance agents in the world, not just in the state of Ohio, but actually in the United States of America. I'm known by all the big companies, State Farm, Farmers, American Family, all the big companies. The CEOs know me. They call me superstar. So I've been doing this a long time. I was known as a prodigy. I'm starting at the age of 19 years old. In the insurance world. So I started really early. And I wanted to learn as much as I could and as fast as I could and wanted to know how to take this to the next level. So I've done that. And now I'm trying to just continue to perfect my craft and continue to grow and continue to shine.
I heard that. And then beyond just your business, you're a father, you're a husband.
Absolutely.
Community advocate.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Fatherhood is one of the most important things to me. Just being a great role model to my kids and, showing them the right way and showing them that, you don't have to do the wrong things to obtain the things that you want, it's a better way, and it's, and I had to learn that growing up, the way that I come up, I didn't really have a father figure, just my mom in the household, raising 4 kids. So, I kind of learned from the streets, it's how it is to be a father, but, growing up, I had role models, so to speak, coaches, friends, Romulus Durant, TPS, superintendent. So I had, role models that pointed me in the right direction. But as far as my household, I always wanted that, always wanted to be a great father to my kids and have them, grow up with a great, role model as a father,
Absolutely. You're doing that. You're doing that. So you just talked about, you're from the inner city. Tell us, what side of town are you from here in Toledo?
Oh man, so I grew up on Woodstock actually. 1100 block, one way, So I grew up there, we went to Nathan Hill, which Nathan Hill's no longer here anymore, Nathan Hill Elementary. Went there, actually, I went there from 1st through 6th grade. Started off at Sherman, which is crazy. Sherman, I went there in kindergarten. And then we moved, and I went to Nathan Hill and then I went to Burndale. And then actually we moved on the South End, with my mother, when I was about in high school. And that's kind of how I started meeting, all my friends. And I played football for Libby High School and I graduated from Libby High School, 2008. Shout out them Cowboys,
Respect to Libby. Because Libby was always like a staple. It's just prominent within the city. You always have to account for, at least in basketball.
Oh my God.
But just even the culture, the people of the South Side, the Cowboys. But the sad part is y'all are a dying breed.
I agree with that. I agree. But the ones that live on, most of my friends that I know that went to Libby, they're very successful, which is crazy because, we weren't an inner city school and we came from, poverty stricken areas and, we had to overcome, a lot of obstacles in our life. So, with most of my friends that went there being successful, it was an amazing school, actually.
I heard that. And so once you graduated, you went on to college to play sports?
Yeah, actually, yep. I had a football and a baseball scholarship, which was awesome. That's the only reason I went to school. I just wanted to play sports, man. But actually what's crazy is I wanted to be a pediatrician when I first started. So that's what I wanted to go to school until I started, digging into it. I'm like, man, I got to go to school a long time to be a pediatrician. I was like, man, I don't know if and I was hungry to, get at it right now. So I wanted to be successful right out the gates. And, going that route, I think it would have took me a little while, just with the schooling and, so I decided to, go in a different direction. And I was like, I think I'm gonna do business management. So I went to school and I switched my major and I ended up, going to school for business management. I went to Ashland University first, right out of high school. Then I transferred to University of Findlay. After I left University of Findlay, I transferred to University of Toledo. And I was actually trying to obtain my insurance license while I was in school. So I was like going to college, but I was still doing my insurance courses on the side, just treating it like an extra class. So I I go to my classes. I was like, okay, I got to go morning class. And, after that, I'll do my schoolwork for insurance. So I ended up getting my insurance license. I ended up meeting my friend, Andre McCullum, which is crazy. Andre McCullum went to Libby, very successful, has a boxing program. He's doing really well with the youth. Oh yeah, man. That's my guy, man. So he's doing really well with the youth, but he was actually the reason why, I got into insurance. So I seen him, he was driving a brand new Chrysler 300 and he was really young at the time too. He was like 20 years old. I'm like, man, where you get that car from, man? He told me, he was like, yeah, I got it from my job. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, what you do? He told me they sold benefits, and I'm like, what kind of benefits? So, I started, going through the courses and, end up obtaining my insurance license. My first week, I made so much money, bro. I think I made like $6,000 my first week of working in insurance. Literally, like I was hungry though. But you got to think though, I was in training probably for like 7 months before I even started, selling. So I was already like learning how to sell insurance. Yeah, I literally in houses, like we're in Detroit, Michigan, I'm in the inner city. I'm selling when I first started, I was only doing life insurance. So we selling life insurance. We going to inner city houses and there, and I'm meeting families and, we talking and, and I'm kind of watching because Andre was already licensed. So I'm just watching him do it. So by the time I got released, I had it, I was like, yeah, it's go time. You know what I'm saying? It's time to eat. Yeah. So once that first week went by, my upline actually told me, his name is Dan. He said, hey man, you can't do this job and go to school. You got to pick one. Yep. And I was like, well, I went to school to make money. So I'm making money. So, I'm just going to go full-fledged in this and become superstar. And actually my name used to be Star. It was crazy, just regular Star. So when I first started, Dan actually gave me that name as Star. He called me Star, and he was the MGA for AIL at the time. So he's like, yeah, this is Star, Yeah. So when I got when I became an agency owner, that's when I turned into Superstar, So I'm like, yeah, So now I'm Superstar, Elevation, exactly.
Yeah, so I moved back to Toledo in 2014, and I came back with my real estate license with the intention of establishing a brokerage and building something that's going to last for generations here in Northwest Ohio and impacting my community. And you would be on Facebook. We didn't get acquainted. Like we weren't acquainted, but we were Facebook friends. And so just watching another young black man that's an independent owner of his agency doing his thing in the community, being proud about it, helping his people. I always saw my reflection in you.
I love that.
And so I always respected your business and, what you've done for the people and how you've built it for yourself, built your brand, built your name, and built it for your family.
Man, that means a lot, Rob, man, because I feel the same, and the feeling is very mutual. You doing your thing, and we're two of the best, and I respect the professions, and we're not only known locally, but we're known all over the world for what we do. People literally, you go to NARAB meetings, people know who Rob Pasker is, which is crazy, and same with me, I can go anywhere to any meeting in the insurance world meeting and they know who Superstar is, Stephen Darrington Jr. They're like, that kid is legit, so I've been successful at every insurance company I've been to, and you are one of the only broker black owners in Northwest Ohio, that's their own brokerage, which is amazing, you know?
100%. Well, when I became a broker in 2017, I got my broker's license, and at that point, it was just Emery Whittington, and it was Bill Rixey. So I was the third black broker that was active. There's been black brokers of the past, but active black brokers, it was me, Emery, and Bill Rixey. At 2017, I was the youngest broker, period, black or white, youngest broker in the city, in the region for that matter. I'm still the youngest broker. And we've multiplied. Now we got 6 black brokers. You know, shout out to Shalonda. Shout out to Lorene. And Anthony Ross. I can't leave out Anthony Ross. So Anthony Ross is another one too. So it's 6 black brokers, and I mean we really are working to put our people in position to build wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about the opportunity to build business in Toledo?
Man, so Toledo's my home, you know, and with me being here and growing up, you know, and seeing you know, some of the businesses, not sure if you remember Hutton Pharmacy. You know, Hutton Pharmacy, he was it was on the corner of Door and Woodstock, and he was a black pharmacist. And Hutton was an older guy, and you know, with him being a black owner while I was young, I seen that can happen, and I really admire him, you know, for doing that. So I think the opportunity is kind of limitless here, you know, and I think that it's just going to take the right people to break it open. And I think it's going to take the right people to involve the youth. You know, the youth is what we really need to change the culture and the trajectory of Toledo. And I think, you know, Toledo get a bad rap sometimes, but honestly, I feel like Toledo is one of those sacred places that can turn into whoever the people is around it, which right now we're putting in the right people and the right culture to change what Toledo is. And this is what we're doing with you running for city council, and with me being an agency owner in downtown Toledo, and we're coming up with some programs. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on. Scott Park University is coming, you know, and we're partnering with these schools. You know, shout out to, you know, some of the Toledo public schools, you know, representatives we're working with right now. Tanya over there at Wade High School, you know, we've been going over there and meeting with the kids. She run a DECA program over there. So we've been meeting with these teachers, which they're trying to fuel the youth to get into professions, like, you know, literally right out of high school, literally so they can go right into the workforce. And they're actually following up with these kids even after they graduate to try to make sure that they get in the opportunities they deserve. So opportunity here is crazy, man. Right now, Farmers is doing something amazing. They're giving free classes to free. We're sponsoring classes for people to get their insurance license. And all they have to do is just take a course. We're sponsoring them. So we're fronting the money for them to basically take the classes for free. You know? I mean, what?
You can't beat that.
Come on, you know, come on.
You want it or you don't.
Yeah, man, come on. And, you know, and they get their state test, and so it's getting to the point now, the process is so streamlined. Like, literally, I'm an agency owner. I've bumped my head. You know, I'm 35 years old now. So, you know, I don't bump my head, you know, going through the progression of being an agency owner, learning the kinks. And I want to start having people from high school streamline right into agency ownership, where they can move anywhere in the United States of America that Farmer is at and open up their own Farmers agency. So they don't have to stay here in Toledo. So we have amazing opportunity right now with the youth. I just can't stress that enough, man. It's crazy right now, man. It's like right now, it's like better than any time has ever been in Toledo. Like, it's just so much stuff happening around Toledo right now. And it's like the perfect place for our kids to grow up. It's, you know, our housing, as you know, come on, man.
Come on. I mean, you're just telling, that's the truth. When I moved back into Toledo in 2014, I had lived in Columbus for 6 years, went down there for school, went down there to build my businesses. And I got my real estate license on the April 18th. I was working at my job in Toledo on April 28th.
Wow.
So once I got to where I wanted to be, I came back. But I came back because of the opportunity that Toledo presents.
Yes.
Straight up. Well, like you said, I truly believe that if someone is educated, they're diligent, they're persistent, and they put in the work, you can make you can live like royalty here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And we have the people for them to follow. You know, we have the Rob Pasker, we have the Joshua Williams, we have, you know, Stephen Darrington, we have Niera Williams, we have, you know, Melody Darrington.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many different people that they can follow, you know, that's doing the things that they want to do, you know, and
Absolutely.
and we're making the process, you know, like we're like, if you do this, this, and this, you can get to, you know, from A to B, and you don't have to go to Z first or to W first. You know, we're making this process so simple for you guys to make sure you can take off and do it the right way and be successful at it, you know,
Absolutely.
ultimately, because we want our family and our generations to be able to take care of their families as well. You know, we're not going to live forever. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And no one is, you know, so all we can do is do what we can while we're here and make our impact on Toledo while we're here. And I think we're doing that. And I think
We're definitely doing that. I mean, when the names you just named and then more in different industries, I mean, it's the millennials are taking their seats. The millennials are taking their seats at the helm of leading the city forward. Toledo comes from it has a very storied history as far as who we've been to the nation, and I see us ramping up to get back to that. Because, like you said, I love Toledo for a lot of different reasons, but where else would I want to live? Honestly, I mean, aside from the weather.
yeah,
Okay, we get a lot of gray days.
yeah,
Take that away. Okay, affordability. It's
Amazing.
cheap to live in Toledo.
amazing.
We talk about living like a king. Where else can you get like a 4-bedroom house, 2.5 baths, attached garage for less than $250,000?
You're not.
You're not.
You're not.
You try to get that out in Cali, you spending about at least 900, probably more than $1 million.
And where you're going to live is not going to be nowhere near, you know, as the better as these neighborhoods are here. You know, it's going to be rough with that 900,000.
Well, and the truth is, you think about our neighbor, think about the north, maybe like the old South End. You might be able to get a house on the north side for like a good solid one, 120 and less, maybe 100,000 and less. You might be able to find something move-in ready. For areas like that are comparable in other parts, like in California, you're not spending less than $500,000.
Not at all.
To get into those areas. And that's just a starter home. So we have that. Easy travel. Man, we got, for one, DTW is an international airport that's 45 minutes away.
Absolutely.
We can get anywhere in the world from Detroit. I-75 goes from Canada to the tip of Florida.
Yep, absolutely.
I-80 goes from ocean to ocean. They intersect right here in Toledo. You think about the amenities. We got one of the best park systems in the country.
Yes, we do.
Our park system, the metro parks, the river that we have, the way that they're utilizing the river for the citizens' enjoyment. One of the best art museums in the nation.
Zoos.
One of the best zoos
Oh
in the
my
nation.
God.
I mean,
our school system is even amazing. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Toledo public schools get a bad rap, which I don't understand, because if people really look into some of the programs that Toledo public schools is offering right now, like literally we have kids moving across the country to get into the veterinarian program that they have. Kids moving from across the country to get into the aviation program that they have. So like, it's not even, I don't even believe it's other schools even offering those programs in the world.
Not like that. I mean, that just goes to show Dr. Durant went and got a national award for Urban Educator of the Year.
Absolutely.
And it's like the things that are taking place in Toledo, people give it such a bad rap. That narrative is crazy to me, because when I tell people the lifestyle that I live, when I talk to people about Toledo and what it has to offer, and they're amazed. But the funny thing is, when I first started going to the NAREB conferences, my first one was my midwinter 2019.
Yeah.
I went to midwinter February to Miami, Florida.
No.
The only person from Toledo, but you know, I wear Toledo, I put it on my bag.
Absolutely.
Wherever I go, I'm putting Toledo on the map.
Me too.
Yeah, Glass City, Cash City, T-Town, State Island. What you know about that? They thought Toledo was in Canada.
Oh my God.
They thought Toledo was in Canada, but nah, shoot, now we 80 deep, realtor wise, we 80 deep, and you know, every year more and more of us are going, and you know, now we got the Lisas, and we have the Fays, and we have the Loreens, and the Lises, the Caitlins, you know, so where we go, we multiply. And I'm a firm believer, if you can make it in Toledo,
You can make it anywhere.
if you can get it out the mud, this is the literal mud.
Literally.
People talk about like mud. Shout out to DJ Bugatti Gerald, Mud Made.
My boy Mud May, Mr. Mud May himself.
But this is the mud, literally. When you talk about, think about the Great Lakes system. We're on the Great Lakes system. And that's a whole conversation when we talk about water and the fact that water is becoming a resource that is on its way to being scarce in certain parts of the country. We live on a fresh water source. If things hit the fan, people are going to move inward towards where's the water's at.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Toledo, you look at the Maumee River. We have the Maumee River going through Toledo. It's in my backyard. The Maumee River is the lowest elevation of the whole Great Lakes system, which is the largest freshwater system in the world. So with the lowest elevation, it literally is the mud. That's why the Maumee River looked the way it does. It's the mud. It's the shallowest as well. So it's the mud. And if you can make it in Toledo, make it anywhere.
One thing I love about Toledo, is they say it's the mud. You can always get clean. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get clean. It's easy to get it out the mud. Well, the mud is, you can get stuck in it, or you can embrace the mud. You know what I mean? You can put fertilizer on the mud. You know what I'm saying? I believe, I truly honestly believe, you can. The mud is where it's at, because the mud can turn into grass.
It's fertile.
It's fertile,
the
bro.
Mud is
it's fertile.
About the Nile River. The Nile River was so important to African civilization, Nile Valley civilization, because it was so fertile that when it rained, the rainy season, it would overflow and it would give nutrients to all the land around it. So yeah, there's power in that.
There's power in that.
Being in the mud, but it takes a certain mindset, a growth mindset.
Yes, I agree.
An abundance mindset. It's the people that operate in scarcity, that operate in fear, that are like, oh, I hate it here. I need to get up out of here. This Toledo is the worst. Toledo is this, that. It's like, that's not my experience.
Mine's either. Mine's either.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but
I love it here, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And honestly, I just want to see it be the best that it can be.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And being an agency owner, I've learned a lot, just being a staple of the community, and I want to be the insurance guy, the insurance man for the people. I want to make sure that they understand, and we also have first time home buyers coming up June 21st, Scott High School. Make sure you're there. They're actually giving away, City of Toledo is giving away a $10,000 grant to anybody that have a pre-approval. It's only going to be one person chose. Well, it was 10,000 last year. They didn't really put a number on it this year, but it's going to be a grant. So it could be a winner. Come to that, show up, support. It's a first time home buyers class. It's multiple. It's going to be inspectors. It's going to be multiple real estate agents. It's going to be games. The kids going to have a good time. I believe they're going to have face painting there. So make sure you show up to that. That's going to be an awesome event. But being an insurance agent for the people means a lot to me, because a lot of people buy a home, they don't know what's covered as far as their coverages. They don't know, what the dwelling coverage is, or what the personal property contents is, or what's liability. They don't know that stuff. And just educating when it comes to that, and being an insurance agent for our community, someone they can call and ask questions to, or like, hey, I got this question, I was wondering about this or that. That enlightens me, you know what I'm saying? That fires me up. That gives me a sense of a purpose, a sense of people need that. They need someone they can call to and say, I got a question about insurance, I'm gonna call Stephen Darrington Jr.
Yep.
Or I got a question about home owners buying a house, I'm gonna call Rob Pasker. They need those type of people in their circle to be able to call. That makes a community, and that really means a lot to me, being a staple of downtown Toledo.
Absolutely. Being a pillar. I mean, because you being in the position that you are in your business, you're reaching people that often get looked over, that often don't get the attention.
Absolutely.
And so being who you are, you resonate with these people that need you the most.
Yeah.
And that's the power.
I mean, like you said, it's the mud. I grew up just like that. I grew up one of them people. I grew up, in the inner city, and living, don't really know the resources, don't really know where to go to get this or get that, or, or who to call, or who can I go to I got a problem, and just being a resource, that it just means a lot to me, man. And it's one of those things that just make me feel happy. It makes me feel at home. Um, and I love being here, man. I love being in Toledo. I don't think the opportunity here is more amazing than it's ever been, and I don't think that I'm not ever going anywhere. I'm going to die in Toledo. And people are like, well, why won't you move out of Toledo? Because I love Toledo, bro.
I get the
Toledo's my
same
home.
thing. Like, Rob, people told me, Rob, you're bigger than Toledo.
That's
You're
what they
bigger
tell
than
me.
Toledo.
Yeah.
It's like,
And what's that mean? What's that mean?
Nah, I'm gonna get it where I live and build it up.
Toledo's huge, bro. Toledo's Toledo. Like,
Yeah.
like this is my city. This is where I'm from. Like this is where I love. These people mean a lot to me. This
Absolutely.
is,
we got a real community.
it's a community.
It's a real community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's big enough, but at the same time, it's also small enough where it's a real community. Like, I might know this person, and if I don't know them, I might know they family. I might know one of their best friends. There's only 1 degree of separation in Toledo, if that. I mean, 1 degree of separation. I don't know whose theory it is, but they say you can think of anybody in the world, there are 6 degrees of separation, meaning that you can go through 6 different people to meet this person. You know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows this person.
Mm-hmm.
In Toledo, it's only 1 degree of separation.
Yep.
If that, because you can go to a Rotary meeting, you can go to an IMA meeting, you can go to a Realtors meeting and introduce yourself to who you need to introduce yourself to, whether that's
so true
nonprofit, whether that's government, whether that's businesses. You can't do that everywhere.
No. It's the layers, and it's the brick walls, it's like, I can't get behind the door, here you can. It's an open door, open door policy. You can meet whoever you want to meet. You can become whatever you want to become here. It's not a lot of, brick walls, and
100%.
I love that,
Yeah. Let's talk about insurance, because you're the insurance guy. I hear you talk about insurance. I've invited you to my home buyer education workshops, and I thought I knew insurance until I heard you talk about insurance. So, what does it mean to protect your asset? What does that mean?
For one, the most important asset to everyone is their family, husband, wife, kids, maybe pet, and pet insurance is huge as well. Which, that it doesn't get as big of a, as a praise as it should. But pet insurance is a huge thing because, some people, pets are, to them, it's their family, so, yeah, life insurance is very, very important. That's protecting your assets. Like I said, the most important asset in the family is the husband, the wife, the spouse, the kids. That's the most important asset. Other than that, people work their whole life to get what, Rob?
Free. No.
Their house.
That's true. I mean, that's the American dream, is you get that house. You got that. Once you get the house, everything else comes.
Everything else comes. That's what, that's, and Rob's one of the best with that. But protecting your home is the most important asset to protect as well, other than yourself. So family come first, then it's the house, then it's the cars, and then it's other assets. It goes, jewelry or whatever it may mean a lot to you, but it's really the family. The house is one of the most important assets that people work their whole life to obtain. Homeowner to become a home. So protecting that asset to me is very important. I want to make sure that we're covering, we want to get your roof. We want to make sure you have roof replacement. We want to make sure that you'll be covering your dwelling. We want to make sure that stucco on your house, if it blew off by the wind, is covered. All of that stuff. You got dwelling coverage. You got a she shed. I met this lady. She told me her dream in life was to have a she shed. She said, all I ever wanted was a she shed. I said,
she get it yet?
Huh? She did. She got a she shed. Yeah. Then she wanted to insure it. She wanted to insure it.
Yeah.
She cared more about this she shed than she cared about her actual house.
Oh my goodness.
She was just like, she just wanted to make sure that the she shed was covered. So like, like that's the kind of stuff that, drives me. It's like, I want to protect your home. I want to make sure you know about your personal property, your stuff in the inside. You turn the house upside down, everything that fell off, how much is everything valued at? Your deductible. What do you have to pay if something should happen? Liability, man. Liability is huge. Umbrella policy. A lot of people don't even know what an umbrella policy is. Umbrella policy, it simply covers liability coverage over your homeowner. So it's like acts as an umbrella. So before the liability even hits your homeowners, it goes through your umbrella policy first. So it basically puts an extra layer of protection on your assets. So make sure you got liability for that pool, that trampoline in your backyard. So kids, if they come over there playing, they fall off the trampoline and bust their tooth, the parents trying to sue you now. So man, that stuff will ruin your life, and it's just like you've been working your whole life to obtain something, and you was being nice, and this kid came over and fell off your trampoline playing with your kids, busted their mouth open, and now their parents want to sue you when you was the one being nice. So like that's where, insurance really plays an effect, and really comes into in fruition, where you want to make sure that you're protecting those assets that you work the most for. So yes, absolutely. So it goes family, spouse, kids, pet, homeowners insurance, then the automobiles. That's what you get next in life. I love my cars,
You do love your cars.
I love my cars.
You got a Porsche.
Love my Porsche, man. I love my Porsche, and my Range Rover, which is my dream car. What's a funny story? I actually bought a Range Rover and it kept breaking down on me forever. And I just ended up buying another one. I was like, all right. But yeah, Range Rover, that was my dream car. I always wanted, so I kind of dumbed it. No, I just, I got it. So.
Well, you're a blessed man. I'm a firm believer that this is what I believe, and this is something that Zig Ziglar said, or he gets the credit for it at least. He said that if you help enough people get to where they want to be, then you'll end up where you want to be. And I guess that's another saying to say, that. It's a blessing to be a blessing.
Yes.
And what you've done is you've blessed a lot of families in Northwest Ohio, and in doing so, you and your family have been blessed.
Yes, man, God is good. I'm a firm believer when you put God as the head of your life, and when you put Him first, when you pray and you ask for forgiveness and you ask for the things that you really want, and you pray for those things and you manifest those things and you work hard for those things will come, whatever those things are. So whatever it is that you want the most in life, pray for it, ask God for it. Not only ask God for it, but act on it as well. Put the energy into it and work hard and go hard for it. God is amazing, and it's, you can't put enough emphasis on prayer and because God works miracles. He's a miracle worker, and he done got me out of some situations, and he done helped some of the families that I needed him to help, that I asked God to help, and I've seen him come through. And you just can't blame the bad things happening on yourself. You just got to keep your head up. Life happens, stuff happens. It happens to all of us. You just got to keep moving forward. And like I said, you keep God the head of your life, anything that you want in life will come true. And I'm a firm believer of that. And I pray, and I'm hoping that we can bring some young kids. My goal, I want to raise some young kids into agency ownership, having them get an agency so I can point at them and say, I helped him get there. I know that he can do it. He's doing great, and he listened, and he's a prime example of what could be, and not only he don't even have to, when we get these kids. So my goal, like what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring more agency owners to farmers. Okay. So with these kids, we're trying to not here in Toledo, but wherever they want to go in the United States, that Farmers is in that state, which Farmers is a big company,
Right.
But wherever they can go, they can open up a farmers agency there. And I think that is something that's overlooked. Insurance is very overlooked. When you go to school, you don't hear many kids saying, I want to become an insurance agent. It's just one of those things that kids just like, insurance agent.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy. It's not sexy. But when you see what can be accomplished with it,
Oh yeah.
it becomes very attractive. And kids all ask me all the time. And I'm a prime example. I buy nice stuff. The reason why I buy nice stuff is because kids like nice stuff. And when they see me and say, hey, superstar, how did you get that? Or how did you get this? Well, let me show you how I got it. Let me show you the road to get this. And it can be attained by doing insurance. That's just how I am. That's just what my passion. That's my passion to help these kids do insurance. And, I know they can do other things, but I want to get more insurance agents out here in the world protecting people's assets because there's not a lot of people that's doing that in the world.
There's a place for
It's
it.
a place for it. And
Especially for kids in our community, there's a place for it.
absolutely. It's huge, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went ahead, I got my life insurance license, but I never practiced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we might have to. When you see Rob with the farmer shirt on.
I mean, I see the opportunity in it to create residual income and help people doing it. But
yes.
even me,
I love that word that you just said, residual income. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't even know what residual income is, And it's the act, residual income is the act of doing something one initial time and receiving income over and over and over from that one initial act. You can never truly become wealthy until you have multiple sources of residual income, whether that's property and you're getting rent off of it, or, renewals, or, I don't know, stock, some different
Yeah.
residual income
Yeah.
that's coming out, that's paying out over and over, but residual income, I love that because that's huge.
Well, and the insurance game is nuts. It gets deep.
It gets deep.
And I don't know if we're gonna get that deep, but you start talking about, term versus whole life and what you can do with whole life, and then you start talking about index universal life,
Yep.
and the options and opportunities you have to invest with the IUL. There's a whole bunch to insurance.
Absolutely.
It's deep.
IUL is huge. I mean, I'll touch on that one because I like, that's one of my favorite products, Index Universal Life Policy. Index Universal Life Policy can be used as a 401k. A lot of self-employed people don't have a 401k, so they're literally like saving money as they go, and they trying to put money up and put money to here, and and they getting older and they want to make sure that they invest money. But you can actually use an Index Universal Life policy to save money for retirement. So basically, you will pay money into this like life insurance. So if you pass away, a death benefit is attached, which a death benefit will pay out if something should happen to you while you're living. But if you decide to retire, you have on your policy, it'll tell you, it'll say year 5, this policy will be worth this much. Year 10, this policy will be worth this much. So you can get an idea and say, okay, well, I'm going to retire at 60 years old or 65 years old. This is how much I'll have in the IUL. This is what I will be able to cash out when I retire. Now, once you retire, you can choose a payment option plan on that. You can say, well, I only want $500 a month for 10 years, or I want to do a lump sum. I just want it all, or, I could be like, I want to pay out, so they do have different ways of paying out that money. But yeah, that product is amazing for self-employed people, people that make money and they just want to put away for retirement.
That's a good way to put it. I never heard it put like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a good point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, a lot of people grind and they make money and they pay their bills, but they not really putting away for retirement like they should be. But with that, even though it's life insurance, you really, even if you get to live, then you can just cash it out down the road and liquidize it. You know what I'm saying? And now you liquidate it. Now you using it for a source of income at that older age, rather than it being a life insurance.
That's
benefit.
key. That's key. Our seniors it's getting harder and harder for seniors, and the boomers are aging. And, doing the housing counseling that I was doing, I saw a lot of people, elderly people, starting to find themselves in hard spots because the cost of living has gone up. The value of a dollar has gone down. The price of groceries has gone up. The price of housing, if they're renting, housing is going up. And it's hard for seniors. So for me, doing the counseling that I was doing, it put me in the mindset of, yeah, I'm in my mid-30s, but one day I'm going to be in my mid-60s. And when I'm in my mid-60s, I need to be straight. So, I got to do something to make sure that I'm not like, I don't find myself with my pants down.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want to wait too long, because the older you get, the more that policy actually costs and the less that you're putting away for retirement. So the earlier you want to do it, the better. It makes it so that you're putting that money away for retirement, and you just don't want to wait too long to do that. And like I said, the earlier the better. You want to maximize that cash value. So the more you put into that policy, the more money is going to be available in the future. So if you like, I can afford to put away $200, or I can afford to put away $300. You should have your agent, whoever that may be, you should have your agent actually check and see, okay, if I put away $300, how much money is I'm going to put away for retirement at this age. Or if I put away $400, and you can set up a appointment, you know, and come into the office and look at the screen. It literally will show you and say, hey, you know, Rob, just for example, I'm just using your name, you know, hey, Rob, so this policy, you'll have, you know, $10,000 when you retire, or $20,000 when you retire, whatever it may be, by putting this amount. And you may say, that's a little much. I can't really afford to put that away. I'm going to do something a little bit lower. Okay, you have this amount, you know, so you can kind of, you know, check your budget. You know what I'm saying? So affordability is not a problem when it comes to that product, because you don't have to put a certain amount. You can do only whatever you can do. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like you can be like, oh, I can't do 50. That's fine. You can do 50, 100. Just the more you put up for retirement, you know? So it's a product for everybody. That's why I like the IUL.
I heard that. So let's talk about growth, because when I was setting up a little behind the scenes conversation, you were talking about how you just want to grow. You want to grow your agency. But you know, what I've learned, being a business owner for as long as I have been, I learned that business growth starts with personal growth. And so, like, how have you seen your personal growth through adversity, overcoming, being resilient? How have you seen your personal growth affect your business growth?
I think that's a loaded question, Rob. And you know, you're absolutely right. You know, personal growth is very, very closely matched with business growth. You know, if you're not growing personally, you won't grow business. And I feel like me personally, in my own, you know, retrospects, I think that I have maximized my business growth as a single business owner. You know what I mean? So like, I'm literally killing it. Like, I'm #1 in personal line, which you don't know what that is. That's home and auto sold in the year 2025 in the state of Ohio for Farmers Insurance. And I'm doing that, you know, by myself, you know? So like, I can only imagine, and I only can do so much. Like, if I have, you know, Rob, and I have, you know, Faye, and I have, you know, I'm just throwing out names, you know, Julia Lee, you know, from Huntington. If all these people calling me and say, hey, I got this close today, I got to do this person. You like, hey, I got this close, Stephen, I need a quote. You know, this person's calling me and I got 5, you know, I got to do right now, you know, so I'm like kind of maxing myself out at capacity. Now I'm like, but luckily for me, I'm superstar. So I can move fast because I've been doing it so long. I know exactly what to do, you know, so boom, 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 boom. But it's getting to the point where even though I'm boom, 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 booming, I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I got to figure something out because I cannot. So that's why right now, like I said, Farmers got the sponsoring the free classes. We got about 26 people in classes right now. You know, I'm hoping that some of them come. We got a girl taking her state test tomorrow, so good luck to her.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I hope she passed.
In advance.
Absolutely, because we need her to come through. So yeah, we want to grow, you know, and we want to get more people into classes. We want to, you know, bring some people in. We want to make this insurance firm a huge firm. You know, we want to make it so that we're not only number 1 in the state of Ohio. I want to be #1 in the company. I want to get to a point where we're doubling up the company. You know what I'm saying? And that is huge mindset. Like, I'm saying my production is so big, Stephen Darrington is Farmers. You know, we got Farmers and we got Stephen Darrington, you know, and then my production is, you know, and that's goals to me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I can't get there by myself. It takes a village. You know, Nathan Hale used to have a sign on the side of the building that said, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to do anything, Rob, as you know. You know, I mean, you want to run for city council, you need a village. You want to be a great brokerage, you need a village. Yeah. You want to be a great city, you need a village. So, like, I'm trying to build my village right now as an insurance agency. So, you know, shout out to my wife. She helps me a tremendous amount. We're killing it together. Melody.
Shout out to Melody.
Yep, shout out to Melody. She's an amazing mother, amazing wife. I couldn't ask for a better partner. But yeah, I need to actually hire more people and, you know, bring in some young. That's why I really need some youth, because I feel like the youth don't have bad habits. There you go. Yeah. They don't have bad habits, and I could train them to be superstars from the beginning. You know, and that's what I need. I need superstars. I need them to come in. I need little me's. I need to duplicate myself a million times. You know, so that's what I'm working on. You know, if I can get them in the door, they're going to be successful. They're going to make money, and they're going to be happy. You know, because that's what we do. You know, so that's my goal. That and personal growth is huge. Like I said, you got to keep God first. That's one of the things that has grown over the past years of my life. Just my relationship with God. And I think that that's helping me take it to another level as well. But yeah, man, we need youth, and we just need them to come in hungry. And that's why I'm doing these programs with the schools and with Toledo Public Schools, and trying to get into the school system where the kids know who I am. So when they start getting older, they're like, I know Stephen Darrington. I'm gonna go talk to him and see if he can help me with whatever I need, and I'm gonna help, because that's in my heart, to make sure that we have a successful generation.
100%. Well, you give them something to look up to, and how can a person aspire to do something or go somewhere if they don't even know it exists?
So true.
Right.
So true.
People like yourself and myself, that's the opportunity that we present. Because I didn't see any real estate brokers walking around when I was a child, when I was in middle school, high school. I didn't even know nothing about a real estate broker.
Right.
Until I didn't know anything about a real estate broker.
I didn't know anything about one time I met you.
Yeah.
I'm like a brokerage? That's a real estate brokerage is a thing? I knew you could be a real estate agent. I'm like a brokerage? Oh, that's dope. That's next level, Rob. Well, nice to meet you, Mr. Pasker.
That's the name, is Mr. Pasker.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Pasker.
But yeah, no, that's why it's important that we stay out here, we keep our heads up, and we just keep doing what we're doing, man.
Absolutely.
Because gravity is a real thing, and gravity is always fighting us, but we ain't lost yet.
Nah, man, and we gonna keep winning. You know why? Because we winners. At the end of the day, winning come down to winning. And there's no excuses in winning. It's you can lose a lot of games, but winners win. And at the end of the day, if you want to win, you gonna win. Because you want to win. And that's just what it is. You work hard to win, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we doing, Rob. We winning right now. And God is good, and we gonna keep winning. And and we gonna try to make sure that the youth is winning. And that's what ultimately it's about. We wanna make sure our kids win.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm on right now. And I think that's where I'm at in my life. I did me, you know what I'm saying? I did everything that I grew up to accomplish. I wanted that, and I went out and got all of that. And I'm like, now what? Okay, now it's about the kids.
Bring some more people along.
Absolutely.
Bring some more people along.
Pull them right along.
Yeah. So I'm trying to win the city council race.
You gonna win, man.
Yeah.
You gonna win. Vote for Rob Pasker.
Vote for me.
Yep.
You've been knowing me for a while now. We've done a lot of things together. Why do you think I would be good for the city of Toledo on council?
Man, Rob is the most giving person I have ever met. And when I say giving, I mean time, energy, effort. I mean, he has all the qualities of a great leader. And I love Rob, man. Rob's like my brother. And I have never met nobody like you, bro. And the reason why I say this, like, for instance, like, I came here, he said, we need to do an interview. I'm like, yeah, you're right. All right, I'll show up. And, and I came here and I didn't know what to expect. Man, Rob, listen, we on the cusp. We lights, camera, action. And what I mean by this, when he does something, he does it. And he's for the people. He wants the best for people. He wants you to win. He wants the community to be a better community. He's not gonna do things or suggest things that could hurt the community because of like for instance, some people will do things to make their self better when it doesn't make anything around them better. And Rob's just not one of those people. He doesn't care who it hurt if it's not the right thing. He doesn't care who is at the helms if it's not the right thing to do. He's like, that's not right. We shouldn't cut that because it's gonna mess with the school system. Or we shouldn't mess with this because, like, I love this dude, man, because he always does what's right, and I love that, and you can't ask for more in the community leader and city council as somebody that wants to do the right thing for the community, that wants to do what's right for the youth in the inner city and ultimately the inner city of Toledo. We want to make sure that we are winning. Rob is next level innovator. He want to make sure that the technology is there. He want to make sure that things are going the right way. And if it's not, he's going to do something about it. He's going to go to the people and say, this isn't going the right way. The people don't like this. The people is having the trouble with this. the road is bad over here. We need to fix that right now. This is Rob. This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get that. So that's why. It's exactly why I say that.
I appreciate.
You're welcome, bro.
No, it's real.
It's real.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's no man is made to live on an island. Right, we're made for each other, and it's like I've been blessed. God has gifted me, and I've had favor throughout my whole life, and I try to be a blessing to the world around me. Try to make the world around me a better place.
I love that, bro.
And that's it.
I love that because like you don't get that. You know, people for self. You know, a lot of people for self, and you are not. You're the total opposite.
Yeah. I'm not. I've made a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah,
man. I've made a lot of sacrifices to help make this a better place. I've built my business too, but trust me, I could have made a lot more money, man.
I know. That's what I mean, man. Like you don't care about that stuff. That stuff don't motivate you. You know, and to be honest, bro, that's a unmatched characteristic. You know, that's an unmatched characteristic when you're not money motivated and you want just to do the right thing because it's the right thing. You know, and that's what you're gonna get with you, and that's why I'm glad that you're running for city council because I think that you will be a great pillar for the city of Toledo, and you're gonna do amazing things, bro. And I'm excited for you.
Well, by the grace of God, if it's God's will, man, we'll see. I need support. I need the people's support.
Yeah, you're gonna get it, man.
I need the
You're
support.
gonna get it.
Yeah.
They're gonna get out there and vote, man. They're gonna get out there and vote.
I know I got your support.
Yeah, for sure. You always got my support, man.
Yes, sir.
Whatever
yes,
I can do, always, man.
Yeah, we gonna take it to another level, man. It's a new generation, us coming in to these positions, and there's a lot of room for growth here, man. There's just so much room individually and then as a city, and I believe we grow as a city by growing individuals.
I just feel like right now Toledo got all the pieces in place to skyrocket. Like everything is going well. They're just making all the right moves. You know, city of Toledo is just making all the right moves right now. They're letting the people get involved. They're letting the people have more of a word right now. You know, more of a say so.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's just going in the right direction. And I love the trajectory that we're on.
Yeah, stay tuned. Well, it's because it's people like us at the helm. You're serving on the housing committee for the city.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. I am.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, I'm on the board of zoning appeals. But speaking of that, the housing committee, the Department of Neighborhoods and Community Development, homeownership fair, we touched on it, but let's go a little in depth because, you know, people need to know about it. This is their second time doing it. You know, shout out to Director of Neighborhoods and Community Development, Ms. Rosalind Clements, for taking the helm and putting people in place to make this happen.
Yep.
And last year's event was powerful. I mean, it was a lot of people that came through, a lot of organizations.
Yeah.
I was represented, a lot of the realtors were represented, and it was just good energy, and it was education. And so I'm looking forward to this year because I know it's only going to get better. And so,
oh my God, I'm so excited, bro. I'm so excited. It was so many great resources there.
Yeah.
Like so many great resources. It's like it's tables all out in the gym. You can go up to somebody. You got direct contact with these people from these big organizations. They're answering any question that you want. They got classrooms running in the back, classroom sessions, where breakout sessions where they're going over mortgages and mortgage lending and first-time home buyers programs, and it's a ton of information, and it's exciting, man. It's exciting.
You know, I was very proud of my table last year. I thought my table was lit. It was lit. So this year, I'm like, how am I going to elevate my table this year? How am I elevate it? So
it was great.
I gotta bring the heat. I gotta apply pressure, man.
I
gotta let them know. Like, y'all must have forgot. Like, Roy Jones Jr., man. Like, don't forget. Okay, I'm real humble.
I love it. I'll be teaching one of the classes at the first time home buyers class.
Oh, that's dope.
I'll be teaching the class insurance 101 basics.
Okay.
You know, so I'll be talking a little bit about
that's
homeowners
essential.
insurance.
That's essential to the home buying process.
Absolutely. Yep, you have to have homeowners insurance so you can't close.
Yeah. So it's gonna be great. So I'm looking forward to it. And you're teaching the class. I'll probably pop in. You know me. I gotta see what's going on.
I
gotta see what's going on. But
I love it.
Is that June 21st?
June 21st, Saturday. It's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be some food trucks and stuff there for food. So it's gonna be an all day type event. I think they're gonna have some kid events too. So kids are welcome. They did say they're gonna have some face painting there, I believe. And some other stuff there, some other activities they got planned. Stay tuned. It's gonna be some really fun stuff though.
That's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be great. So who's gonna win the NBA Finals?
I got the Timberwolves, man. You know, I gotta go with my boy Anthony
Ant-Man.
Edwards.
You just see
You know,
Ant-Man get
I
one.
gotta see Ant-Man get one. I love Ant-Man. He's a beast.
I would love to see him get one. I
I
feel
mean,
like
he had the hardest road. You know,
Yeah.
come on, man. He had the LeBron. You know, had to
That's
go
true.
through LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like he had the hardest road. You know, he deserved it, man.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about him is he's just so confident. He remind me of Jordan for real.
Yeah,
He remind me of Jordan, and for him to get one, I think he's the face of his generation. He said he don't want to be,
yeah.
but I do feel like he is
though.
the face of his generation. So to see him be cemented with the NBA championship, I think it'd be good for the league. I think it'd be good for the sport.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I'm excited to see LeBron play with all his kids. I know people say, you know.
You say Bryce
I
coming?
want to see Bryce. I want to see Bryce on the court with LeBron. That'd be crazy.
Huh?
That'd be crazy.
How long do you think he gonna last?
No, LeBron gonna retire soon. You know, I mean, if he can retire anytime. He had an awesome career. You know, like I would say three great careers in one. You know, so I'm a LeBron fan. Been a LeBron head
Yeah.
since he, you know, Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, I love LeBron. That's my dude.
Since he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
But I think once he retired, you know, I'm Ant-Man. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because who else? Who else?
That's next.
I mean, literally, who else? To me, he's genuine.
He's it.
He real.
Yeah, for real. He's the real deal. And he reminds me so much of me. And I think that's what it really is. He's a superstar. You know?
Yeah, that he is. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you got whoever wins is going to be their first time winning the ring. So
that's cool. That's what's cool about it. It's gonna be a good watch for sure.
I heard that. So you got anything else for the people?
I just want to say, you know, stay true to yourself. You know, stay true to what you want to do. If it's anything that you want to do in life, I believe that you can accomplish it. Find the resources. Find out who, you know, is doing what you want to do. Surround yourself with good people. Tighten up your circle. You know, a circle is important. Who you're around is who you become. You tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. You know, and my friend is Rob Pasker.
My man, that was good. My man, it's my brother from another mother right here. I'm proud of this man. Keep elevating, keep striving, keep pushing, keep giving back, man. Keep doing that because it's necessary.
For sure, I agree.
Until next time, y'all. We on the cusp.
On the cusp.
Catch us on the cusp.
On the cusp with Rob P.
For sure.